We've got football, meat pies, kangaroos and Holden cars. Football, meat pies, kangaroos and Holden cars. They go together underneath the southern stars. Football, meat pies, kangaroos and Holden cars.
We're not a wildlife sanctuary.
Scotty, we have to interview a lion.
Joe Balzan, the lion. Hey everybody. Hey, what an amazing crowd, man. To see you tonight here, boys. Great, big interview going. Got the Joe Balzan.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for having me.
Beautiful.
Joe, son of Alessio and Laura, born 1963. Welcome, mate.
Thank you. Glad to be here, boys.
Yeah, great. Great to have you, man. Great to have you. Looking forward to it.
Let's start off with Holdens. Let's talk Holdens to get us going. Probably the first question I want to know is, what was your first car that you worked on when you started there?
First car I worked on, probably the WH Commodore, and as an apprentice we did a lot of tooling, working on the cars, but that sort of went straight into VL.
So what year would that have been, Joe?
81.
That was your first, as an apprentice? You had an apprenticeship, yeah? You did your whole apprenticeship through Holdens?
Yeah. Started there and finished until they closed. So, yeah, it's a good place.
What about young Darcy there, your boss out there? I believe he might have started on the Tirana XU1. I think it's the XU1.
Yeah, he was a patent maker in his time, and then he became my boss in the early 90s. But yeah, he was there in the Tirana days and a lot earlier than when I started. So, and yeah.
So how many years all up, Joe, was that? How many years?
35 I was there.
35 years.
35.
Yeah. And then after it all closed down, you also did, help them break down the line and all that sort of
I
stuff.
went there, worked for Killick, a mob called Killick. Went in there, started ripping out plant form, pull the presses down, and it was sad, from a place that was humming and you can hear people and you can hear presses and machinery going and to nothing.
Yeah.
And the canteen was closed.
Yeah, I've got a question coming up a bit later about the canteen ladies. Yeah.
Yeah, they loved me.
What was your favourite car there, Joe?
If
there was one.
Well, there was a few. Obviously, there was a few, but one of my favourites that I had was a VE Commodore, and that was a cracker. I had a white one. Did a few weddings. I did Mr. Connery's wedding in it, and but it was a good car, and but as far as power and that, it'd have to be the HT Monaro. HT Monaro.
So 68 was a good year for Holdens.
Very good year.
With the muscle car, with the group ends that came out.
And they kept that going on to HQ, and the HQ two-door Monaros, sensational cars with the big V8s in them. So.
They had a 350 and a 308, didn't they?
Right, yeah.
My father-in-law had one. He had the old Mission Brown one, and he drove it till the legs fell off of it, and that had a 202 in it. But he drove that thing. That went over to Sajuna. That went everywhere. When we were kids sitting in the back, with Mandy and that, it was unreal.
Yeah. No air conditioning back
No.
No.
I'm not sure what year the air conditioners come out in them.
It'd be 70s, I'd say, 73s or something like that. But who won the air conditioner with a V8? Just when they hear the motor and
just wind the window
and
down.
all the girls waving at you. I remember my cousin in Sydney had a 350 Monaro, and he rang up my parents and said, "I'm thinking of coming down to see us." And Dad said, "Yep, no worries, come down from Sydney." 11 hours later, he's knocking on the door. He belted this thing here, and beautiful, Went through a bit of petrol, but 11 hours he was in Adelaide. So, yeah, good car.
I had a 4-door HQ 253, and that was a beautiful car. That with a GDS dash in it, with all the instruments there, and you'd hit the T-bar and go dum 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 dum, and you'd hear the diff just crown. It was beautiful. We were going up the Riverland in that one, and actually dropped a Welsh plug out in the housing of the the transmission there. I blew 5 cylinders out of 8. But we were lucky to get through that, you know, like seriously.
But easy to fix back in those days, yeah.
But I was a boy in the cars. I love the Holden V8s. I've had VC 5-litre cop cars, and I think Mandy bought 1 or 2 of those engines to be replaced. And I was a boy. I love the Holden car. I love
So
the
what age
Holden
were you
red.
when you did that?
Oh, we were pretty young. We were before marriage, so it would have been, I don't know, I suppose, I reckon I bought the Monaro when I was 18. I didn't tell my dad either. I just went down to Northside Motors there, and this guy was called Frank Carboni, of all people.
Jay probably knows him.
I know the sausage one.
So, sure enough, I went down there, and they said, oh, you want to lower the price? So, of course, we've lowered the price. Then I've cooked this thing going up to the Riverland, and it cost me $1,000, but we had to go through court. It took 11 months to get the money back, which we got the money back for the car. But there's still times I dream about it and think it's in my driveway, and I wake up and think, whew. So my mate bought me the little model that you've seen with the yellow and black stripe. Beautiful car, absolutely beautiful car. Man, that was my favourite car out of all the Holdens.
And you know, back then that'd be a $3,000 car.
Yeah.
And today they'd be about 85 grand.
Oh, yeah, easy.
You'll never get that back.
No.
You'll never get that back.
It was excellent. It was such a good car.
Very well made cars too. So it's, Holdens have got a good up at I forget what it is now. Birdwood. Yeah, they got the museum there. Sensational. It's really good.
Because if Ashman had kept that car pristine, that's probably a $250,000 car now. If it was put into a shed.
It was a
or
boy
something.
racer car too. It was beautiful. The trim was so good.
Yeah.
Like, and if you are a car enthusiast with the GDS dashes, there's not much better than a GDS dash. It's got all your oil pressures. It's got all your gauges sitting in front of you. And
See, I'm sorry, guys. This is out of my league. Yeah, this is out of my
I'm a real boy racer. I love the
nice.
Holden. The VE that came in mid 2000s there, that was a big seller for it.
Yeah, that pulled Holdens back into life because we were sort of starting to go down, and Commodores were a bit small, so the body shape was a bit small for the Australian way. Still had the V8 and everything, but they wanted a bigger body, and the VE come and saved us. They spent a fortune, big money on the plant at Holdens, and they in turn employed more people because they needed more people to make the car. So, but that made Holdens strong again, and that's when we went to the button plant. So we started having robots because I worked mainly in the body shop. So when VE came, we used to have like 200 robots welding the undercarriage. So that, you know, got rid of 200 people, but it was a lot quicker. And when you're making 220 cars in 8 hours, that's pretty impressive. Yeah. And they were pumping them out. So as quick as we were making them, they were selling them. That was good.
And that series went for quite a while, didn't it? That went for like, don't quote me on it, but I reckon that was 8 to 10 years, the VE. Yeah. I know you had different series of them.
Yeah, so they changed headlights, tail lights, changed a little bit of the panels, but basically the same car. So the same shape. And each time they brought one out, they'd made it lighter because they were trying to get rid of the weight, because we have to have a percentage of the car had to be galvanised for Europe, so they don't go rusty and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So then Holdens had to spend money on the welders to weld galvanise. So that was, as boring as it sounds, it all adds to the price of the car.
What about the Japan trip? You went to Japan with the Utes, was it?
Yep. When the Utes were coming out, we went there for the tooling, because Japan made a lot of our tooling, because they've got bigger places there that can do it. We've got nothing in Australia like it. But that was 3 weeks that I learnt over there. That was amazing. It was amazing to see how they, like, the Japs are pretty smart. They design things. You know, there'd be 4 guys that would design the underbody line, that would put the underbody together. Just 4 blokes. That's amazing. That's, you know, to pump out 200 cars in 8 hours, they'd have to design that and make it work. and they did it. They were just amazing to see, these blokes. They were good.
How did that trip change you as a worker at the Lionsgate there? How did that change you on that trip to Japan? Did that bring you more into the car? Did that, in regards to the tooling and all that?
No, most definitely, and it's ownership. It gives you a bit of ownership. You know, like you talk to a lot of guys. I worked in a department called the pilot room, and we're always working on new tooling. The guys loved cars. Everyone in there that I worked with loved cars, and it's just the ownership. Like, went to Japan. Holden sent me to Japan, of all people, and went there and we worked with the Japs and put our ideas forward, and it was good to work with them. When you come back and then what we implemented in Japan to the production line, it made you feel like it was yours.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and Holden's had a lot of good schemes going. So if you come up with an idea that could help make the car better or quicker, they'd pay you good money. Like, they'd pay up to $25,000. So that was the scheme that they had going.
Incentive, isn't it? It's a good incentive.
Because I had a couple of mates work at Holdens, and they always said, if you the suggestion box, if you come up with an idea that could help the company, they'd actually help you out too.
And look, some of the suggestions were, back in the old days, you had a key that would, we had two sets of keys: a key for the glove box, key for the boot, key to start the car. So this guy said, make one key to do all of them.
Terrific.
25
Fantastic.
grand.
25 grand. Another guy, they'd have plastic bags over the seats when the car's built, so they don't get dirty. Well, there's only someone sitting in the right hand side when they drive them off the line, so he said get rid of one bag. So that 25 cents a car you add up over a year saved Holden shitloads.
Yeah, for sure.
So 25 grand, thank you very much.
Nice.
So yeah, it's pretty impressive when a company can do that. And they used to do a lot of things. You don't take a sickie, give you $30 a month, and give you jackets and trips to Sydney, and they were a good employer.
But just touching on Japan, just quietly again, Japanese would like to have seen you over there, big boy.
I had that many Japs rub my tummy. I was carrying a bit of wind, and you walk in, and we went to this temple, and all the roofs are low and whatever, and I must say there's a couple of Japanese women I would have brought back with me. not bad, you could have put them in the suitcase, but their shoes are about this big, and we had to put these slippers on to go into this temple, and they just look at you and laugh, and they don't get how big we are.
Big we are, or big you are?
No, well, I was with a couple of blokes. They were 6'4", 6'6", and you're walking in the train station, and
so it wasn't just the Holdens experience either. You actually got to experience the life and culture in Japan and all that sort of stuff.
I went to the baseball in Japan, and just seeing the people. We're lucky in Australia.
Yeah,
Australia's a great country. And don't ever let anyone say it isn't, because it is. But Japan's beautiful, and we've got some nice things there, and I probably ate half of what their population ate because Holden's paid for it. I mean, we stayed in the Hilton.
Oh, okay, nice.
And the best thing that I learnt in Japan was I used a bidet. Oh my God. No.
Did you lick your lips when it was clean? And
No, I was just sitting there, and I noticed in the mirror, I'm in the Hilton, 13th floor, there's pretty flash, and the mirror's all foggy except this little square, so they had a demister right so you can shave and that in the morning. So I looked down, I'm thinking, there's all these controls in the toilet. I used to have one button in Australia, so I pressed it, this thing's going, bang, straight in the spot. Hot water. I loved it. I moved to try to trick it. And to this day, I'm sure there was a little Jap guy in there because they got me smacking in the middle every time. It was a good job.
Yeah, nice.
I don't know how they lost the war because he was a good shot. He got me. So, no, very nice place. It was good. And everyone was friendly, like you drop a bit of paper or something out of your pocket and these people would chase you.
Yeah.
There's a lot for... They wouldn't rip you off,
Yeah.
So.
But what I was trying to say is it's like you got to go there for the work, and Ashman was talking about how you brought that back. But it was also for a company to send you over there so you can actually appreciate another culture, that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, and that's, you know, I mean, obviously Holden's gets the work out of it,
Of course.
but they brought the Japs, you know, Japs come over to Australia to install, and we took them out as they took us out. But for a company to do that, it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
really.
blood oath.
When you're sending 30 blokes over,
Yep.
and we're in business class, that was good. Food was sensational. So,
Joe, I really want to talk about the VF.
Yeah, I've got that written down. The VF, the red line.
The
yep.
VF, the red line,
Yep.
the Series 2, the Grand Poobah. I know Billy Bastian bought one. Man, to that peak, we made the best car ever, didn't we?
yeah, I agree.
How sad that we got there, but how brilliant and how good is that car today? I've driven that car. I've felt its torque. You feel part of the car, like that car. Once you're in it, you know it weighs a fair bit, but the power output to its weight is incredible. The torque in that car, 6.2 litre. Man, does that thing boogie? That gets up and goes, doesn't it?
They got it right. Holden's got it right. And it was, bang, we closed the doors. You know, they could not have done much more to that car to make it better. They got it right. They got the weight to ratio. They got everything right. There was no rattles. There was no leaks. It was just the best car they've ever built. And it's a shame that it's gone. And I know plenty of guys that, my nephew's got one, and plenty of guys that have bought the SSs and gone straight into the dealer and spent another $5,000 to make the motor go cool.
Yeah, righto, cool.
And, you know, $5,000, a lot of money, but they...
And these things go real hard without...
So, just me being the novice, what year was that? What year was the
2017 was the last one.
That was the last one.
Yeah. So, and that was that was the current shape that you see driving around today, and bloody good car, really good car. You can't.
It finished on a high though, didn't it?
It did, and they could have kept it going. They really could have kept it going because it would have been good to see what they can do to it, to sort of bring a little bit of Camaro into it or something like that. But the shape was probably time to change. They probably had to bring a two-door in like Ford did, and they're doing good at Bathurst. They do good in the racing. So it's killed everything really. And as far as I'm concerned, they've killed everything.
So that's my question. You've been there for 35 years, as we've talked about, but you talking about your passion now, like that really hurt guys like yourself, for Holdens to leave this town. So talk about that. Like it really hurt you. It wasn't like you just lost your job. You actually lost a part of your life.
Yeah, well, you lost a friend. You lost a mate. And though I knew a lot of people there, Holdens was like a mate. I was there for 35 years. I knew everything about the place, the groans, everything. You knew when it was pumping, the place was happy. You could tell. It was just there every day.
Yeah.
You know, I was working 7 days a week, and it's just an amazing thing to, you know, you go in and everyone on the line's happy. But what place do you go to and everyone's happy?
Yeah, it's
Look,
very
you
very
get a
rare.
couple. You get a couple here and there that were disgruntled for whatever reason. You go into the car park and there was mainly Holdens in the car park. That's bloody good.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see. You know, you see a lot of older cars that were there, the old Escorts and whatever, but they were mainly Holdens. You know, and it was like a part of me died, if you can say that.
Yeah, for sure.
I do think too that Jimmy Barnes got the song. He or Cole Chisel, speak pun. They did nail it.
Oh, very much.
You know,
And
Closing, shutting down.
yeah,
the
for
town,
sure. And I got to say, when that first came, I'm a huge Jimmy Barnes fan. If Jimmy ever listens to this, love you. But
Hey,
I
worked there, Jimmy Barnes worked
for 2 days. But I actually thought that song was a wank
there.
until I speak to a guy like yourself,
Yeah.
and that like resonated through you guys, and obviously all the guys that worked at Holdens. For me, never worked at Holdens. My grandpa actually came out from Europe, worked 30 odd years at Holdens, passed away and all that sort of stuff. But When I first heard that song, I thought, yeah, Jimmy trying to make some money. But when I speak to a guy like yourself, and so that song meant a lot.
Like, and this is a very good plug for Holdens. Like, Holdens just didn't make cars; they brought people together. And my parents were Maltese from overseas and whatever. My dad never worked there, but I worked with a lot of Italians and a lot of people that couldn't speak English. A lot of Vietnamese come into the picture. Holdens taught them English. They put English classes on. Who does that?
Yeah.
To help these people speak English. So they did things like that, and if there was people in alcoholics or whatever, they'd help them. And these are true stories. I'm not making it up.
Yeah,
There's
sure.
a couple of people that had problems, and they've gone off the rails. Holden's put them in rehab, and that's whether
Just didn't sack them, just didn't get rid of them.
No,
just
they
helped
kept
them out.
on, and they came through it, and they working there till the end.
Yeah.
That's, to me, it was like a family.
Yeah.
Really, it was like a family. There was a few wankers there, but you get wankers everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
But there was some good people there, and they're the ones that I feel for. Holdens went down, they took the good people with them, and it's a shame.
But talking about good people, just to make a bit of light after that, the canteen ladies, Joe.
Oh, yeah. I went out with a couple of those girls. But they were... I did, I'm telling you. They were good girls. They fed me well. But, I got to know them well because I worked in the tool room and we were near the main canteen. If something breaks, they used to come to us, we'd fix it. And so on a Friday, it's fish day, and the canteen's pumping. It'd be packed, the line would be out the door, and I'd walk in because, I don't need to wait in line with these other people. I'm hungry. So I walk in, give a nod to the girls there, and they'd have my dinner waiting. And it was only ever one guy who whinged, and he never whinged again, because I said to him, you're fighting a losing battle, mate.
Gets the meal, mate. The line gets the meal.
The line always feeds first.
But I went out with a couple of canteen girls, and like for 6 months, I got free food. That was excellent. Forget the sex and all that. I got free food. I was so happy with myself.
Yeah, that's a good job.
So, but no, and that was the thing, they put.
But the canteen was really good. Like they served good quality
chips,
food. Yeah.
Custard and cake, and Christmas they'd put on Christmas meals. They'd alternate our Christmas lunches so everyone can have a go. They put free barbecues on the weekends when we were working 7 days. They'd put barbecues on for people. Like, bosses would all come in and cook on the weekend so the operators would eat and keep working because they were making cars. They were making shitloads of cars.
I fucking love the Holden. Joe, in closing on the Holden stuff, I believe you were given something, or every employee was given something for their years of service down there.
Yeah, it was a piston.
Not a carburetor.
No, not a carburetor. Yeah,
That's a Scotty Miller carburetor.
that's a
not
carburetor. But it's got the VF, that's the shape of the car on the top. And it's got when I started, when I finished, and that's an actual piston out of a V6.
Nice.
And obviously the line on it. But everybody got one of those.
But it's not a carburetor.
It's not a carburetor. No. If it is, I've worked in the wrong field.
Joe, just in closing with the Holden stuff, you remember the last day you were there and clocked off for the last time?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a great question.
What was it like?
It was sad. It was sad, like, because I actually said, I said to myself, I'm not going to go and say goodbye to too many people. I'm going to just go and do my job, because we all had to work right to the last. They let us go an hour early. And I thought, I'm not going to go and say goodbye to anyone. I'm just going to fade out. No one's going to miss me. And anyway, all the engineers come down, because we work with the engineers. Like, they all come down and say good day, and they hug you, and because you make friends with these people.
Yeah, it was 35
And
years.
you get to know their kids. I was there with a lot of these engineers when their babies were born, and when I left Holdens, they were like 17 years old. So it's a long time to be with people.
Yeah.
And it was sad. I was shattered. I walked out. I had to hold the tears back, and and then we went to the old spot and we all had a drink, and it was then the fun started. You just talked about the good times, but it was hard to walk out. So very hard to walk out.
Yeah, yeah.
But But yeah, look, if I could do it again, if I could do it again, and I was young, I definitely would go to Holdens and get another apprenticeship.
For sure.
Because I mean, when I was a young lad and didn't know much, and I remember seeing this big sign up at Holdens, 0 tariffs, 0 jobs, and I said to this old guy I was working with, "What's that mean?" He goes, "It means if they lower the tariffs, we'll be out of work." I didn't even know what a tariff was, and sure enough, they lowered the tariffs. They brought all the stuff from overseas, and we're out of a job because they could make cars cheaper than we could.
Yeah.
And it's I think the main thing, well, one of the major things were we were so far away from everyone, Australia, because there was 5 car manufacturers in Australia. You know, Toyota, Ford, Chrysler, us. It costs a lot to send the cars over, and you know, our boss used to say, our manager used to say, Holdens need to produce 100,000 cars a year to be profitable.
Yeah, righto.
That's a shitload of it. A lot of cars. You imagine, and people that say, "Oh, I don't care that Holdens is closed." We made over 100,000 cars a year. That takes 5 wheels. Someone's got to make them. Goodyear, Dunlop. So, how many people did Holdens employ indirectly?
Oh, for sure.
You know, 100 windscreens, 100 doors. You know, the steel, everything that came gave other people, you know, a job. Really, Villies. Truckloads of Balfours used to come in to feed us blokes.
But that was just yourself.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
That was just yourself.
No, I was happy to donate.
I want to bring up the African lion. His libido is very high. I assume the Holden lion has the same libido.
I'm not sure how.
Is it there, Joe, or not?
No, I think it is. It is. And yes, you do raw afterwards.
Good boy.
Have to.
I think the Australian lion would
He's a big lion.
probably
He's a big
knock him
lion.
off
He's a big
anyway.
lion.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, thank you, mate. Thank you for the whole
Oh, the stuff,
stories.
that was awesome, dude.
Ray, that is absolutely fantastic to get a little bit of that stuff, and
Yeah,
you know,
friggin' awesome.
You know, it's good.
And I still think that's a carburetor.
Yeah, well, you're not a car bloke, but anyway, that's good. Hey, thank you for that. We're going to really move on to
So the baseball side of things.
the
now.
baseball side. That this is another massive side to Joe Balzan. Scotty?
Yeah, but just before I do that, man, like I met Joe, like I was a young man playing baseball, 42 or 43. But the fun side of Joe is, and I want to get this off the cat because we didn't get a chance to speak to you about your mum and how passionate you are about your mum, and she passed away and all that sort of stuff. But funniest story I ever tell, and you've got to tell it to the folks, and you know what I'm going to say, is the white sneaker story, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You have to tell me that. Because I'm telling you right now, you used to tell that, I reckon, once every 3 weeks, man, and it made me cry.
Yeah, like, you know, I've never seen my mum in pants. All of a sudden, she's wearing pants. You know, my old boy died. She's always in a dress. All of a sudden, she's wearing tracksuit pants. And then she comes out in the lounge room wearing these white sand shoes. I said, "No, who the fuck are you, John McElroy? You know, you can't even run and you're going to wear white sand shoes. You're not coming out to baseball and embarrass me." Which she did. She came out to baseball wearing white shoes because she was proud of them because they were leather uppers. That's all she was worried about. Don't worry about the sporting look. They were leather uppers. And I'll just tell you a little quick story about my mum. We were playing at home, and my mum used to come out with the Connerys and sit there and not even know what mum wouldn't even understand. I could be playing soccer for all she knew.
Yeah.
And anyway, I've got a hit running around a second. I've slid in a second, blew the ankle out. And Connery's run over. "You're right." "Nah, leg's gone." "Okay." I've looked over, said, "Fucking hell, keep her away from me." Mum's run now with a bag of peas. Where's she got a bag of peas from? She must have gone to the canteen to bring ice out.
Oh.
I said to Steve, "Get her away from me. If these blokes see my mum fussing over me, my manhood's gone. Get her the fuck away." No, he didn't. And I'm there. She's taking my sock off, putting peas on there. You don't do that to a legend. Not that I'm a legend.
Oh, he just called himself a legend.
He
I like
is a
that.
le-
He is a
oh,
legend.
wow.
He is a legend. And that's what I'm going to believe. When I first met you, you got caps medals. You won a couple of caps medals.
Just a couple, yeah.
Couple. Div 5 and a Div 7.
Yeah.
Div 5, Div 7. So,
10 years apart.
oh, was it 10 years apart? See, I didn't know that. 10 years apart. So that was good. And you're lucky enough to play in a Div 7 grand final. It was the year before I came in.
Yeah, Ash was in that.
Yeah, the legendary.
Yeah, I pitched the whole game, but it's a team sport. Everyone batted really well, and Joel Perks took the best
Well,
catch.
it's funny. It's funny because on my and Joel actually gave me a call. Head out to Joel. That to tell the big man that you saved your ass.
He did. You little fat fuck. No, he did, and I think the biggest thing I saw that day was his eyes, because as soon as he caught it, I ran out to him, and he was like, and I hugged him, and I thought, "You're a ledge, mate. You saved the game."
He's a
Saved
ledge.
the game. Yeah.
He's a ledge. He's a.
He's a ledge for so many reasons, because his mum drove down the O-Bahn.
Oh,
I just thought I'd add that. Cheers, Mrs. Perks.
That's exclusive to here, isn't it?
yeah,
mate?
we'll keep that in here.
I can't believe she's driven down the A-bar.
Yeah,
I-
and she took every ticket.
Yeah, she
From
made
other
some.
people.
She actually made some money that night.
Yeah.
But my funny story about you boys in that Div 7 final, I was playing American football all the time. We'd won a premiership. We'd come home, and I reckon it was about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I went inside. I was beat up. I was sore. I grabbed a couple of beers and I sat out on my front porch there, and all I could hear was these drunken fucks in the background going, "We are." And back in those days, I didn't know Mr. Connery or anything like that. But I'm sitting there going, "Who the hell are he?" And then Michael Stevens was across the road, and then the next day I found out that you boys won your big Div 7 final and stuff, and it was all good. But I want to bring another thing about maybe not your baseball career, but a bet I made with you.
Or what, sorry?
A bet I made with you.
Oh, yeah.
A $50 bet, just a simple $50 bet. Can you remember that bet?
I can remember
You can remember that bet? Can you? Do you want to start off before I go?
Well, people might say that I'm a bit of a cross-dresser and like dressing up in women's clothes, which I do. But I said to Scotty that I had some suspenders. And he said, "I'll bet you $50 you won't wear it." And no, I did wear them one game, didn't I? I think I did.
No. So you don't even remember this.
Okay, that's so long ago.
All right, so this will come back to me. This will come back to me now. So I said to the man, $50, you will not wear suspenders for the whole season. Not one game,
Yeah, but I wore it for one game, though. That's what started the bet. Yeah.
whole season. You won't do it. And he goes, "Yes, I will." So I sat out at third base. All I saw was this big man adjusting his friggin' knickers and adjusting his suspenders for the whole damn
No
season.
idea how I felt. I felt so nice. I did. I felt fresh. I really did.
But the thing is, like, it's not for one game. It's the whole 16 games that Joe Balzan wear these things. Can you tell me the story when you were getting ready in the morning? Because you used to tell me all the time how much you enjoyed getting ready on a Saturday morning. When someone came and sold some raffle tickets to your door.
Yes, they came. Because I'd lay out my uniform when I lived home with Mum.
Maz. He's like Maz.
When I was living with Mum, she'd lay out my uniform so I wouldn't forget anything. So obviously told my first wife that. She told me to get fucked, so I'm actually gone. But anyway, I did the same thing. So I had the sweatshirt on and had the suspenders on and sliding shorts and put my socks on, knock on the door, and obviously forgot I didn't have pants on. So went there and this young lad or colour kids there collected money and they just looked at my leg and turned around and walked away. But hey, you know, I'm not a weirdo. I just like feeling good.
Yeah. So just a quick one. So I don't know whether we're going to be able to see this properly, but I was awarded that year Joe's suspenders from the Div 17. So that's the biggest pair of knickers I truly believe you're ever going to see. But that actually sits in my house for the whole season. I paid him his $50 and that sits in the house. If you can actually see it, knickers and
My
suspenders.
mum had to make those undies. She had to make them bigger because obviously, big down there. So
And Joe always warned me if the glass ever broke, he never washed them. So yeah, that was pretty scary.
but there was another story to that. Like
Here we go.
that, I think you added another dare to me, and I had to do a comedy show, and I had to wear those.
Oh yeah.
So we had a guy play for us, pop up, Steve Miles.
I've actually just time out. I've actually got pop up on my list, but I didn't know whether to bring him up.
Yeah, no, if you don't know him, he looks a lot like Joel Perks. That's what I reckon. But anyway, sorry, Joel, on it. But anyway, he dared me to do a comedian thing at the club,
Comedy night.
and then Scotty said, "We'll do it with your suspenders on," which I don't need much pushing, and I did, and did a 15-minute skit, and it went well.
It went really well.
Yeah.
It went really well. All right, so I now have to bring up your relationship with Mr. Steve Connery. No lollies in the dugout. No lollies in the dugout. Steve Connery, obviously an important part of your life and your baseball career.
Huge.
Super coach.
Super coach.
Supercoach.
One of my best mates. We've done it all together, him and me. And when because I started my baseball career at Henley and Grange, and then I went to Salisbury West, and then I went to Centrals. When I went to Centrals, someone said to me, "Go see Barassi." Didn't know who that was, so asking around who Barassi was, and Steve was there. Big Mo.
Yeah.
He goes, "Yep, I'm Barras." Anyway, so I obviously started warming up with him and can throw harder than him, which isn't hard. But and he said, "Oh, yeah, you pitch?" Yep. So the first week I was pitching. So we become mates. And
So what year was that when you met Steve?
that'd be 82, 81, 82. Like I started at Holdens, and I started playing baseball with Central. So
So how many years did you actually play for baseball?
I was 9 when I started.
Oh shit.
8 or 9. So I played for Henley and my brother played for Henley and Grange and that was good, but I couldn't get a training because we lived at Clearview. And but yeah, enjoyed it. Went to Salisbury West and then from Salisbury West went to Centrals.
So you actually played with the original Centrals and then came with the crossover with the Golden Grove and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
So and that's where you meet all the guys. You meet Huey and these guys, you guys and Steve.
And actually, just a quick time out. We've got to say happy birthday, Lenny, because Lenny's a big part of it as well.
Lenny. Yep.
Yeah, Lenny.
500-year-old man.
Yeah.
But no, it was actually, we're looking at photos last Friday at my place there, and there was I've got a photo where I was pitching, and Lenny's in the background with Di. Just come out, they were driving past, little baseball's on. Come out, and they just happened to be in my photo. Yeah. And we've got to know them, and then everyone just gelled together. They would become a family. It's the same thing as Holdens. You meet these people and you see each other every weekend, like you blokes, and it's just good to walk up. G'day Scotty, g'day Ash. Yeah. It's a good thing.
And that was a big part of it when I came into the group and all that sort of stuff, where we all first met, and Lenny, Huey, all those sort of guys are very, very close, and I got to meet Joel and Ashman Pete and all those sort of guys. So it is a lot like the Holdens type thing. Like your relationship with Steve and those guys are very, very strong.
It's a pretty big brotherhood too, isn't it? Like it is. You see each other 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Thursday, Saturday, and more than likely you'll be at the club Sunday.
Yeah.
To see the different.
And you learn about people. We'd sit there and I'd have Lenny on one side of me saying, "Oh, look what Scotty's doing. He's putting the wrong shoes on." and you write these things, and it's funny, and they're stories that you can't buy. You can't go to a bookshop and write this shit. It just happens. Like we had a guy that played for us, and I said to Steve, I remember saying to Steve, "I'm getting ready to pitch, and before a game, you like to get in your own zone." And then I said, "Have a look at this fucking idiot here. He's on our team." And we wear the stirrups. So your stirrups go that way on your foot. He had him going front ways.
Oh, no.
And I think he was shot his mate. So that sort of...
Well, that explains a lot. That explains a lot.
But he put his socks on the wrong way. Who does that? Then I looked over and Lenny's got one Sancho on and one boot on. And he thinks he's ready to play.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is what brings you together.
Yeah.
You know, many a times I've done stupid things, and I love it because if people can have a laugh at you, who cares? You know.
Yeah. And that's very important. Like, and that's, you took a young man. I was 42 when I first started trying to pitch and try to do all that sort of stuff, and
you've done well.
It was fun because of what you guys, took part of it. But the baseball club and the Holdens thing has got to be very closely linked.
Oh yeah, it is. When you when I was at Holden, I spent 7 days a week with these blokes. We were there for 8 hours, 12 hours a day. You get to know them, and everyone brings in food. You pinch their lunch or whatever. I used to eat my boss's lunch because he used to give me the shit, so I'd eat his lunch. But you get to know people, and then at baseball it's the same thing. If you can have a laugh at someone else's expense, sometimes it's good for that person.
Yeah, blood oath. All right, so we're gonna finish up right now, and we're gonna do our final 5, dude. It's really quick. Just a couple of questions. Best sporting moment.
Best sporting moment. Probably seeing Peter Brock win his Bathurst, his 9th Bathurst.
No.
Yeah.
Oh. That's great. That's fantastic.
Oh, you want mine?
I want your best sporting moment.
Oh, okay.
Rocky's not bad, but your
It
best.
doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be to anything.
No, I want to hear.
When we beat Henley and Grange in our Div 5 grand final, because we lost the year before to them. The next year I pitched 9 innings, and back then we played 9 innings, not 7.
Yeah.
And I looked at Steve and I was a bit cooked about the 6th innings, and he looked away as if to say,
You're going,
keep
man.
going. And then I kept going, and we beat Henley. So that was the team that I started with.
Yeah.
And we pumped them into the ground.
Yeah, nice. Most embarrassing sporting moment.
Most embarrassing. I remember we're playing West Torrens, and I've probably got a few of these, but this comes into mind. I brought this girl out. Well, I didn't bring her out of the game. She was a scorer. I seem to latch onto all the stories, but this was a young girl that scored for us and trying to impress her. And she could see me from where she was sitting, and I'm playing third, so I've gone down. My zips busted open, belts busted open, so I had nothing on my pants up. Oh. Fuck me dead, the ball gets it out to me. But, I fielded it and made the play. I don't know if I got him out or not, but all I was worried about was the goalies coming out. But they were safe. They were intact. So
yeah, nice. All right, so a sporting moment you wish you could take back. Something has happened you could take back.
Oh, there's many of those. I remember, I can't tell you what game it was. I was playing for Centrals. I was an outfielder back then when I could run. And I remember running back, and his centre field say, back. And all I remember was I couldn't see the ball, so I moved my glove and it hit me straight in the scone and next with it. I sort of woke up, I was sitting on the bench and everyone was laughing at me. But that was embarrassing because that's, that's embarrassing.
So Joel Perks, man, even the big man makes up. All right, this is the one. If you had to bury a body at 4 o'clock in the morning and you had to call one person to come and help you to get rid of that body, who is it?
Probably Huey. He'd know what to do. He'd know what to do with all the lime stuff and all that sort of stuff.
And he's got the metal plates and stuff. He could take care of it. All right, the last question, man. The best dodgy. You only get one answer. The best dodgy you ever played with. And that can go to Centrals or it can go to the drop. But the best player you ever saw play.
The current ones, Dipper and that, come to mind. But I remember playing with a guy called Dieter Erlab. And he had he was a bit weird, but he had the best arm from outfield. He could throw flat from outfield to home. And he was a young lad. He was probably the best arm that I played with. So
yeah, nice. Yeah, good. That's a great answer. So coming to the end of the interview, and you want anything else you want to have?
No, just in case people don't know, and obviously I'm married now, and I'm pretty happy. But before I got married, I met an Indian girl, and she was a nice girl, and it was about the 4th date. I said to myself, going to get into this. Got to move it. Got to go to the next stage. And so I've taken her to my old place at Salisbury East there, and got her in the bedroom, and she's got all these tissues on her. So I ripped all them sort of things off that they wear, and her head's wobbling, and got her on the bed there, and so she's got the dot on the forehead. So I scratched her, and I won a car. So, but cheers, thank you.
That's great. Joe,
Joe Balzan.
yeah, the line.
The line.
Reach cross.
Hey, thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Where we go from here, Joe, you're the second franchise.
Mozzie, sorry.
Yeah, Mozzie's here. They're pretty big. We move now to the 13th of June.
Yeah.
We got Matty Burns here on the Friday night. Joe, thank you so much, mate. Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time and your stories, and we really totally appreciate it.
Thank you, guys, and you're doing a great job. And that bird up in that fourth row up there, lovely babies. No, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
you.
Joe. Thanks, Joe.
And just to finish up, Ash, man, so Burnsy, we're coming for you, so we're looking forward to it, and another great show. Thanks, guys.